You might be wondering how good these are. Look at this. Watch this. My cat is just sitting there begging for some. Did you see that? That was crazy. Oh my gosh. It's delicious, guys. Not kidding around. Good morning, guys. I wanted to show you something. You're like, Matt, what am I looking at right now? I'm laying in bed this morning, and every morning when I wake up, this is what I look at. I went ahead and put this right over my bed. It says, trust in the Lord with all your heart. The rest of that verse is, and lean not on your own understanding. The first part seems easy. Trust in the Lord with all your heart. Got it, Matt. Check mark. I'm moving on my way. But leaning not to our own understanding, that seems to be the hard part, because as we're waiting, as we're trusting, sometimes we grow weak, we grow faint, and we do start to lean on our own understanding, and we do start to fill in the blanks, and we do try to fix things. And like, well, I'm not hearing anything, and I'm just going to have to act and move out. A lot of times if I'm not hearing anything, I need to ask myself the question, is something keeping me from hearing God? In the Old Testament, you had the priest, and they had something on the breastplate of their garments. It was the Urim and Thummim, and basically it was a couple stones, and they could ask God questions, and God would light up the answer. They had to ask it in a certain way. Is this your will? And if this certain stone lit up, that meant go forward. If this other stone lit up, it meant don't go forward. And I wonder how easy it would be, to use something like that today. But here's the thing. People would take advantage of it, don't you think? If you're looking at this blue thing over there, I tied a bucket with zip ties over a vent because it leaks on me at night. So that is a bucket. Is that not funny? Yeah, we're classy here, But that was something that and David many times, went to the priest and they utilized that. When we look at the story of Jonah, it says this, that they cast the lots and the lot fell on Jonah. That was acceptable in the Old Testament times, casting the lots, meaning, Lord, is it left or is it right? Is it yes or is it no? It seems pretty risky because it's like the flipping of a quarter. And you're like, oh, I don't know about that, but that's what they did. They were trying to hear from the Lord. They wanted to honor God. They wanted direction. They did not know what to do. The Bible also tells us, in the congregation of many counselors, there is wisdom. And yet, more times than not, I want to shoot straight with you. When we are praying to God and we're trusting God and God is telling us to wait, sometimes we don't want to wait. And so we might flip a quarter. We might cast the lots. We might go to a friend and say, what do you think about this? Friends, if God is telling you to wait, okay? You don't need to lean on your own understanding. You don't need to seek other people's advice. You don't need a lucky rabbit's foot, okay? You need to wait. The hardest thing to do is to wait on the Lord. Literally. I don't know of anything in the Christian life that's harder because we feel vulnerable. And while you're waiting, God is building the inner man. He's building you up on the inside. And I tell you what, I've been in that classroom for a long, long time before because, the Bible tells us a day is 1,000 years and 1,000 years is a day, that God is in no hurry to give you the answers. And yet I have learned through my life and experiences that God is never early. God is never late. God answers our prayers, oftentimes 2 and 3-fold. We're just looking for a simple answer for him to do something, speak from heaven. But sometimes it's more than that. He wants to do something inside of you. And so while he's answering your prayer, he is working on the inside of you, on the inner man, Friends, if God has told you to wait, then you wait on the Lord. One of the things, again, that I've learned over the years that I can do is this, that I can say, Lord, would you encourage me? Lord, would you show me that I am doing the right thing by waiting? And more, I have yet to commit to God that I'm going to wait, but I need some encouragement. I need to know that I am doing the right thing in waiting and not moving forward and not trying to figure these things out. And I just wanted to share that with you this morning, you guys. I remember when I first put this trust in the Lord with all your heart, I was having a tough week. I mean, I was really having a tough week. I had this on another part of the wall that was hidden behind a bunch of junk. And it just happened to fall one day when I was really struggling. I mean, all I heard was this thump, and I was like, what was that? And so I start digging through all this stuff that was shoved against the wall, and there was the sign. I was like, why in the world is that sign where I can't see it? And so I got my drill out, and I just put two screws into the roof. Not smart. And, I'll patch it up before I leave this place. It's just a little of that white putty stuff, but I can't tell you how much the sign means to me when I'm going to bed. Satan oftentimes is attacking me when I'm very, very, very tired. At the end of a long day, he wants to attack me. And I can look up and I can read that God has my back. I can trust in the Lord. I can trust God. Okay? And friends, you'll learn to trust him if you will just go back in memory lane and look at all the times that he has been faithful. Guys, I won't tell you how old I am. I did used to hang out with T-Rex in the backyard many years ago, but I will tell you this, that God has never failed me one time in all my life. Do you understand that? Not one time can I think of a time where I prayed, where I trusted, where I relied on God, that he has failed me. Out of all the years of my life, and again, I'm not all that old, but still out of all of my life, day in, day out, 365 days a year, he's never failed me. God cannot fail. Now, your expectation versus the reality of what God does, you might fail yourself in believing something that is not true of God or thinking God's going to do something. Don't put words in God's mouth. Don't throw things in the throne room of God and demand anything of God. I think we're smart enough to read the last 5 chapters of Job and realize that's just not a smart move. But we can trust God. But again, the hardest part is not to lean on your own understanding. God has asked me to do many things that just did not make sense to me. I'm like, Lord, am I understanding right? This doesn't make any sense. And he says, you are understanding right. And again, God's ways are not our ways. And so when you're moving through your Christian life and God is speaking into your life, you don't have to reason why it's right or wrong or this doesn't make sense. You just need to be obedient. And as you are obedient, guess what? You're bringing glory and honor to God. You see that bucket right there? I would be sleeping, and somehow that bucket has saved me many nights of non-sleep. What are you talking about, Matt? Well, this thing would just drip on my head. And it would drip, and I was too lazy to do anything about it. And I'd go to sleep, and it'd drip on my head. I was just like so mad. And then I put a towel over my head because it just seems to drip right where I'm at. And finally, again, like I said, I put this bucket up there. But friends, is there something in your life that's kind of like that drip? That you just kind of know in the back of your mind, man, I need to take care of this. I got to handle this, and I didn't want to tie a bucket over my bed over a vent, but it works. It doesn't drip on me anymore. Again, this is a rental, so I don't know really what to do about that. We did put a dehumidifier in, and that seemed to fix the problem, but we need that in the living room, and I have no room in my bedroom for another one. But friends, just like this thing dripped on me, if there's something that's just, that needs to be handled, and, it doesn't have to look pretty, it just needs to be handled in God's mind. Just get it handled today. Whatever it is that you know that you need to do, okay? Stop the drip in your life, and then get the overflow of the blessings that God wants to bless you with. I love you guys.
Look up unto the mountains, whence cometh my help. It comes from the Lord, guys. Love you guys. Have a great day.